What's good with y'all, Mo? Welcome back to Paperwork TV. The war between the police and the DC natives is nothing new at all. In the past, going all the way back to the 80s, there are stories about certain historical DC figures like Benny Lee Lawson from Uptown KDY that went into 5th D and proceeded to let that shit off at an FBI agent. Fast forward to this past week. 2 incidents. One in which an MPD officer was killed trying to retrieve a gun out of a storm drain when it accidentally went off after chasing a suspect. The second, a man was found asleep in a McDonald's drive-thru after a report of an accident involving the vehicle.
Go. Everybody's relaxed now. I guess they got whatever they had going on under control. Oh, shots. Oh, shots fired. Oh, shit. Oh, they lit him up. They shot him.
When officers approached the vehicle, the driver had a gun on his lap, prompting MPD to shoot and kill Justin Robinson of Southeast. Before we get into the story, please go and smash that like and subscribe button for me, Mo. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. First off, last week, DC was shaken by the tragic death of 25-year police veteran investigator Wayne David. Authorities are now searching for 27-year-old Terrell Lamont Bailey, wanted for unlawful possession of a firearm. The incident unfolded when Bailey fled from officers, ditching a gun in a storm drain. Investigator David, trying to retrieve it, was fatally shot as the weapon discharged. David was known for his dedication and calm demeanor, making this loss even harder for the community. A memorial procession honored him as his body was transported to a funeral home. His funeral is set for September 12th. Experts disagree on whether Bailey could face additional charges. DC police haven't ruled out more charges, but the final decision lies with the U.S. Attorney's Office. News reports read as follows. A Washington, D.C. police officer was shot and killed when a gun he was trying to retrieve from a storm drain Wednesday went off, authorities said. Investigator Wayne David, a resident of Washington, was a member of the Metropolitan Police Department for over 25 years and a part of the Violent Crime Suppression Division since 2007. There are few words to express the hurt and pain that Officer David's family and the entire MPD is feeling right now, Police Chief Pamela Smith said in a statement Wednesday. Investigator David was the epitome of a great officer. He was a dedicated and highly respected member of the department, and this is a tremendous loss for all of us. At a news conference Wednesday evening, Executive Assistant Chief Jeff Carroll described the incident. At about 5:40 p.m. Wednesday, officers were patrolling an area on the outskirts of Northeast Washington when they spotted someone leaving a suspicious vehicle. When officers tried to contact the person, he fled and jumped from a wall onto Interstate 295. Police saw him place a firearm in a storm drain before he fled on the back of a motorcycle. It was unclear whether he knew the person driving the motorcycle, Carroll said. When David went to retrieve the firearm from the drain, it went off and struck him in the upper body area, police said. A helicopter took him to a nearby hospital, where he died later in the evening. David had a son, a daughter, and a girlfriend, Carroll said at a second news conference. He called David a true hero to the District of Columbia. He served with passion and honor and had the utmost respect of his peers, she added in her statement. I will be forever grateful for Investigator David's service to the Metropolitan Police Department, and his life will never be forgotten. In a release and on social media, police asked the public for help identifying the person who placed the gun in the drain and fled, who was recorded by security cameras. No information about arrests has been made public. Police did not immediately respond to a request for updates. According to the Officer Down Memorial page, 93 law enforcement officers across the country, including David, have died in the line of duty so far this year, the majority as results of gunfire. Alright, so after this officer lost his life due to a gun going off mistakenly, A couple of days later, at the McDonald's drive-thru on Alabama Avenue in the southeast section of the city, 26-year-old Justin Robinson was shot by an MPD officer after reportedly being waken up from being asleep in the drive-thru after some kind of crash that involved his car and the McDonald's. This situation caused a lot of outrage. Fellow family members and friends like Craig gathered in front of 7th D to demand the police department to release the body cam footage. This act brought attention all throughout the city. It also got an appearance from Ward 8 City Council member Trayan White. Even the news showed up to see what the hype was about. News reports from the shooting read as follows. DC police are investigating a deadly officer-involved shooting that occurred in Southeast Sunday morning. According to Police Chief Pamela Smith, officers responded to the scene in the 2500 block of Marion Berry Avenue SE around 5:30 a.m. for a report of a car crash. 2 officers on leave after shooting, killing armed driver in Southeast DC police are investigating a deadly officer-involved shooting that occurred in Southeast Sunday morning. Investigators say the driver crashed into a McDonald's with a gun in his lap and went unconscious. They say when he awoke, he grabbed another officer's firearm and police shot him. When police arrived, they found the vehicle had slammed into the side of a McDonald's and the driver was unresponsive at the time. Police say they immediately saw a gun in the driver's lap as they were inspecting the scene. As police continued to investigate and check on the driver, they called for backup. Police say the driver became conscious and began moving inside of the car. Chief Smith says at some point the man picked up the gun in his car, and as officers surrounding the car gave commands for him to drop the weapon, he also grabbed one officer's service weapon. At that time, 2 of our officers discharged their service weapons, striking the suspect, Chief Smith said. DC Fire and EMS were already on scene and began to render aid to the driver, but all life-saving measures failed, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. Man killed in officer-involved shooting after slamming car into DC McDonald's. DC police are investigating a deadly officer-involved shooting that occurred in Southeast Sunday morning. The driver's weapon was recovered following the shooting. Police say they are still working to identify the driver and notify his next of kin. Chief Smith says police are still in the very early stages of the investigation and that more information will be released. No officers were injured in the incident, and the officers involved have been placed on administrative leave per MPD policy. They did activate their bodywork cameras, and Chief Smith says the footage is being reviewed. The case will be independently reviewed by U.S. Attorney's Office. Justin Robinson worked as a violence interpreter in Southeast, which leaves us with these questions. Did the MPD slide and choose Justin as get-back for their fellow officer being slain just days before when a gun accidentally went off in an officer's life? Was Justin in the wrong simply because he was moving loose in a drive-thru at time of the morning and was sleeping with a gun in his lap after crashing into the side of the McDonald's? Or were the officers actually justified, and all of this was just some kind of a coincidence? Whatever the situation is, I hope this all gets resolved before things really get ugly. They don't want them YNs to really get to beefing with the feds, no. But hey, that's another story. Well, that's all I got for y'all today. Please do me a favor and comment what y'all want me to cover next. Be safe out there, y'all. And most importantly, stay dangerous, Mo.